Alright, I'm going to do the first how-to video on the 67 GTO that I'm going to be doing. I'm probably not going to be doing a lot on this car because it don't need a lot. But one of the things it does need is upper control arm bushings. The car, I asked the owner when I bought it, the previous owner, if he'd ever had any front end work done on it. He's like, no, it rides so good, and it did ride good. But what I noticed when I looked at the suspension parts is a lot of cracked rubber, and didn't take but about a week for me to ride it that one of the upper control arm bushings cracked out of its housing, and now I've got to replace that. But I will be eventually replacing all the suspension components, but right now I'm just going to put that back to the way it is. And I bought new ball joints to put in there also, just in case they get damaged when I take them out, or they may be worn out. But that's what this video is going to be about: upper ball joints and upper control arm bushings. Alright, so one of the first things I got to do to change this upper control arm bushing and ball joint is take loose the ball joint. It's got a cotter pin in it and a nut. I'll put a jack under it. It's probably not going to pop apart easily anyway, but just in case, I'll put a jack under it and take the ball joint loose first. You can see the boot on the ball joints. It looks like it's ripped. And you can see here from the top that ball joint, that upper control arm bushing that's missing the rubber. You can see it very clearly here. And you can see the rubber on the back one. And you need to change these quick ones like that, because eventually it can damage your control arm or your shaft that they ride on. Alright, so I got the ball joint separated and I didn't show it on video. Probably should have. I tried to use the this tool, but it just wasn't happening. It would not pop apart, so I pulled out the old pickle fork, and pickle fork worked just fine. I put it in at this angle right here, hammered it in, and it popped apart. So now I've just got to take the upper control arm off. Okay, so I took the two bolts out that hold the shaft in, the upper control arm shaft. So I call it a dog bone. I don't know what it's really called. It just slid. I had to pry those bolts out. They were kind of stuck, but they came out pretty easy. So now you can see that the bushings are in really bad shape here. This bushing is like going on this side. You can see all the rubber's missing. And this bushing is really cracked up, so it would be a matter of time before it's gone too. The ball joints are bolted in on this. I don't know if they were originally. I know on the Impalas they were not. But it may have been, it may have been bolted in on these. This car looks pretty original. You can leave in the comments if you know whether they were or not. Makes it slightly easier to replace because all you gotta do is take the bolts out and bolt the new one in. On the Impala one, they were riveted from the factory, and you have to drill the rivets out and put bolts in place of it. Anyway, now I'm gonna take these two nuts off the end here. All right, so I took the 2 nuts off. I used the impact to do it. And it's a 15/16. And you can see here, now you can really see how worn out this bushing was. No rubber was left. It was totally messed up. So now, I saw a guy on another video who took a washer and cut one side of it out and slid it down on there and then pressed it out. I have a hydraulic press over here, so that should work for me. And you can press them out easier, and then it makes that job a lot easier. If you don't have a hydraulic press, what I do is
A hydraulic shop press applies controlled force to material.
Alexa, stop. If you don't have a hydraulic press, there's other ways of getting these things out. One way you can do it is to heat them up and melt the rubber out of them. And once you get the rubber out, you can get the shaft out pretty easy. And then you just take a chisel. I have other videos, if you look, where I did them on a 66 Caprice and on a 67 Cadillac. And you can take a chisel and knock in this outer housing of the of the bushing. Once you get this shaft out, and then it all falls apart, and then you just got to put it back together. So you can do it no matter what tools you got. I'm not saying it's always easy, because it's definitely not, but it's definitely doable. Okay, so I got it here in the press, and I did a cutout washer and slipped it around so it's going to push out I believe it'll come out pretty easily after that. You try to get it as straight as possible. Shouldn't take a lot of pressure to push this out either. And you can see it's pushing the outer casing of that control arm bushing down, using the shaft to do it. So once I get it down flat and it gets up against the thing, then I'm just going to release it. I released it, and you can see there's not a lot left here to get it out. And I could probably hit it with a rubber hammer and knock it out now. I'll set it right there. Just like that, it took the rest of it out. So that system worked good. I'm not going to try to take credit for that because I saw it on YouTube myself and I thought it looked good. So it worked really well, and you can see the cutout like that. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'll set it down here. Set it down here like that. Put the washer on it. I'll slip the shaft back up in there. I can hold on to it. And then I'll set it on there like this. I'll have to raise this up a little bit. All right, it's all the way up. Sit down. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. With the press, it sure makes this job a lot easier. So the first one I took out is the intact one. This one that I'm taking out is the bushings already fell apart. which is the reason I'm changing them. And you gotta be careful with these presses because you can easily get something in a bind. So I'm just gonna press it till that washer gets down flat. And now it's pressing out, you can see it pressing out. And it's easy, you're not putting a ton of pressure on this. If the thing's hard to press, then you're doing something wrong. Now I got it all the way down flat, so I'm gonna release it. Got it released. Here's my, and I'm going, you see it's pressed out mostly. I'm gonna take the rubber hammer and hit it. There we go. Take the rubber hammer. It's actually kind of difficult the way it is now. Because it's, I don't have any rubber in this one to push it out with, but I can probably take a pair of pliers and pull this out. Alright, I'm off camera. I took a pair of vice grips and grabbed the lip and I hit it with the rubber hammer and it popped out. So now this is completely disassembled, ready to put in the new bushings. You got to do the ball joint too. Okay, so you can see the new one versus the old one. These are Moog, which is the best type, and these are a little bit longer. But I'm thinking it'll still work. It looks like the same diameter. It's the part number that comes up for this car. Hopefully it'll work. Okay, so I've got it back in the press. I've got a socket that fits up and presses against the lip on the top and bottom. I'm pressing it down. And they should go in fairly easy again. Shouldn't require an extreme amount of pressure. And we'll make sure everything stays straight. And you really should put a piece of metal in there to keep from collapsing the control arm. Okay, so I cut a piece of round stock and put in here so that I wouldn't crush the housing of the, I wouldn't crush the control arm. The hardest part is trying to make sure you're coming down straight. Because you want to be straight on it. And you want this piece to be close to the shaft so that when you crush it, it's going to start pushing in on the sides of the control arm, and this is going to keep it from crushing it down. And I can see that it's pushing the bushings into the housing, at least on this side. All right, I got that side all the way down, so I'm going to release it. And as you can see, it's pretty much flat on that side. And this side's still not. This side still needs to go maybe a 1/4 inch. You want it to get in there as straight as you can. Do it this way. And you want to put the shaft in there. And it's pressing them down. And there it is, it's flush. So I'm stopping. And the shaft comes out. Bushings are flush on each side. And you don't damage it by using the sockets. So there we go, these control arm bushings are installed. Now I wanted to show it a little closer up. You can see that the bushing is pushed all the way in here and all the way in there until it gets down to the flat part. And you can still turn this with a wrench, so that's the way it's supposed to be. I also wanted to talk about which bushings I used. I used Moog, and they are K5196. And they are correct. What I was looking at originally, I was not. They look different because the rubber is sticking out the end, and mine were so damaged and destroyed you couldn't really tell that they were originally the right length. But also ball joint, I'm using Moog, and I will put a link. It's a Moog K5108, and like I said, it bolts in, so it's pretty straightforward. I will show it, but not a lot of reason to show it. It's pretty easy. It's got 4 little bolts with. All right, so this time I wanted to show what I'm doing with removing the ball joint, separating the ball joint. Use this pickle fork. Worked better than the other tool did on this car. This is something I got from O'Reilly's. It's one of the tools you can borrow for free, basically. Or you can buy it. If you buy it and don't take it back, you just get it for free. I mean, if you buy it and don't take it back, you've just bought it. But it's a loaner tool. But basically, I'm gonna stick the pickle fork in like this and drive it in there until it separates. And I recommend putting glasses on for this because you never know, a piece of this can bust off and hit you in the eyeball. I've heard a lot of people say that that's happened to them. It's very bad. Sometimes can cause permanent eye damage. But basically, you drive it in there until it pops apart. Just like that, it pops apart. And the lower control arm's still being held by the sway bar and everything, so you don't really have to worry too much on this one about the spring popping out or causing anything really bad. But anyway, that's how you get the ball joint loose from the spindle. Okay, so I wanted to show this last part. What I'm going to do is jack up the lower control arm until it gets up there to where I can reach the upper. Pull the upper down as far as you can. And it gets up far enough with no problem. So you're going to jack this up until it reaches into the right spot. Just kind of hold that up into place when you get closer. And I'm really close right now. So we got it where it's far enough now, and then you just start the nut, and then you torque it. What I found said 65 foot-pounds. So you torque it to 65 foot-pounds. And then you're done. That's everything that I'm doing right now. Like I said, later on I will probably replace more of these front end components. Right now, just trying to get it where it's better. Right now I'm just trying to keep it drivable. Safely drivable, and I don't want it to be eating my tires up. And like I said, as soon as I started driving it, I looked at the bushings when I first got it and they were okay. And just driving it for a couple of weeks, I saw one bushing had cracked out of the housing of the bushing. So I went ahead and off the uppers, and I replaced the upper ball joints. So what I got left to do later is the lower ball joints and the lower bushings, and the steering tie rod ends and center links and all that stuff. I'll replace all that stuff too, and I'll make videos of it when I do. All right, so you do that, and hopefully you end up with a spot where your cotter pin lines up. Mine did perfect this time. If not, I usually go a little tighter because I don't want to go any looser. And it's a pretty straightforward job for anybody who's got any mechanical ability. And some tools, basic tools. Most complicated tool is the torque wrench. And I know a lot of these things have been done without a torque wrench. 65 foot-pounds is a pretty good bit of torque. So I guess if you didn't have a torque wrench, you could tighten it up fairly tight and you'd be fine. I doubt you're going to strip it out or break it. But anyway, I just want to make this video, try to help somebody out. Please like and subscribe.